You guys ever notice that every Hispanic woman you see wearing a Selena t-shirt all looks like the woman that shot her? You know what I tell you, man? Fuck you, that's funny. Alright, how do you feel like President Biden is doing with the Latinx community? I'm like, dude, what the fuck did you just call me? They figured out that in Spanish, right, that Latino is masculine, right, and that Latina is feminine. So they wanted to make it gender neutral by calling everyone Latinx, which they didn't ask Hispanics if that's what we wanted to be called, right? Like they didn't ever ask us shit, you know what I mean? By the way, like, can you imagine, right, someone who just crossed over the border, right, and be like, hey, what are you? Like, yo soy Latinx, you know what I mean? Like, you're not going to hear that shit, right? And here's the thing, if they would have done a little bit more research, they would have realized that the entire Spanish language is gender-based, you know what I mean? Like, this in Spanish is called micrófono, right? It's masculine, right? I just can't start calling this shit micrófonex, you know what I mean? Because then it sounds like allergy medication, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, oh, shoot, hey, no, take your micrófonex, dude. That's when you're going to fucking feel better, you know? It's life-changing, you know what I mean? Only for men, sorry. Women, you guys would be thrown to the fucking gutter. I'm sorry. Because I'll tell you one thing, nobody hates women more than Latino moms. Latino moms hate women with a passion. They hate women more than Andrew Tate. You know what I mean? If every Latino mom had a podcast, she would be canceled. You know what I mean? Cancel that woman. But it's true, dude. Like,
that was Bryan Day at the Haha Comedy Club in North Hollywood. Give it up for the very funny, the one and only Bryan Day. Thank you for being here, Bryan. It's great to see you, brother. Welcome back to Los Angeles.
Dude, thank you so much, man. I'm so glad to be here. It's been great, man. I've been loving it. Enjoying the
Do you really miss it?
Yeah.
No.
Well, I mean, I enjoy it for what it is. I love New York where I'm at now, but, you know, LA has some things that I'm enjoying.
Like the homeless?
Yeah, dude. I mean, it's so much fun just
we got
to
the
see.
best homeless here.
You guys have it everywhere, and they're like, I'm in awe of what these homeless people are able to build. You know, like the way they like put up these shacks and everything. I mean, I see like I see antennas on some of these things.
Oh yeah.
They got like, you know, a satellite dish on there. I'm like, man, it's almost like you have skills be able to, that are employable. You know? It's pretty crazy what these people are able to like create with a grocery cart. Like they can turn a grocery cart or into an entire, living situation. You know what I mean? They can make a grill out of it. They can freaking use it as a lawnmower. Like these guys are so intuitive, man.
Yeah.
It's pretty incredible.
Yeah, yeah.
You see like the different homeless people evolving and shit. Yeah, man. But other than the homeless people, LA's been really nice to kind of come back to.
Oh, right on. Did you come back for anything specific, or just came back to hang, or?
Well, yeah. I mean, I had I had some. I wanted to do a show out here, so I have a nice little group of people that wanted to come out and see me. It's just some people that follow me for my content. So coming out here, putting on a show, which we did on Thursday, which I know you were there for.
Yeah, dude, I'm glad I caught it, man. You did a great job and you crushed it, dude.
Dude, thank you so much. No, they were a great crowd. We had an amazing time. I just want to thank everyone who came out at the Haha on Thursday. And I wanted to do it at the Haha because that was the first club in LA that ever put me up on their weekend shows.
Really?
Friday, Saturday night, the owners of the Haha. Obviously, you got to, prove yourself, right? I was a young comic and they were the first ones like, hey, man, you want to do a 5-minute spot just to kind of, start off? And, when you're a new comic and you don't even know if you're funny or not, 5 minutes in front of a Friday night crowd in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
That's most comics' dreams.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I'd love to perform Friday night in LA.
Yeah.
Comics from all across the country. So that's why when I came back, I was like, when I'm going to do my show, I'm like, I want to do it at the Haha. I want to be able to like just kind of come back and just do a night, and everyone enjoyed it. And I got to screen a pilot that I'm going to be releasing soon on my YouTube channel. So
yeah,
we
which
got
I
a nice little
saw, dude, and great job acting in it.
Oh,
and
thank you, man. I appreciate that.
Did you write the script as well?
Yeah, I wrote it and I directed it as well.
Right on.
So it was I was able to do a little bit of everything, kind of like the, just kind of old school, kind of like
what us Mexicans do. Everything.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I know you got. We always do 3 jobs at once.
Yeah.
So I was like, this is what I'm going to do with that. So yeah, this was kind of like my little, comedian, writer, actor, director, kind of doing the Woody Allen kind of aspect of it. Louis C.K., like a lot of those comedians that are able to do that. This was a nice little project where I was finally able to do it. I've written and acted. And but this is the first time I've ever kind of put on my head as a director, and it was great to see how the audience was able to respond to that.
Yeah.
Which is, we're talking about Migrants, which is a web series that I'm launching. So we had the pilot episode, and man, I was just I was nervous to see how,
man.
Dude.
And then you know what? It was like pretty gutsy too, because you guys had a great show. All the comics that you had on did a great job. They crushed it, and then you did an awesome job. You closed out the show, and then, for them to still have energy to sit through a video of a sketch they've never seen before, and then, to give back all that energy, and they were like, they were loving it. So
yeah.
Kudos to you, dude.
It was a gamble now that I think of it. Like everyone's like, so I had a friend of mine that was there, and he was just like, man, you had a good set. Like, you had a great set. People were loving it. He's like, but I honestly, once you put on your pilot, he's like, I was kind of nervous because there's nothing worse than like watching something that's supposed to be funny and it's not funny.
Yeah.
And I was worried about that, man. I was like, once you're in it, you're like, hey, this is it. I'm putting it out there. And then once I heard the first laugh from the pilot, I was like, okay, this is good. And then they started laughing, and to the point where they missed certain jokes because the laughter was still carrying on from the previous joke.
Yeah.
So I was like, that's a good feeling, And then it was just, it was great. And I'm very fortunate that everything got pulled off the right way. And it was just amazing to kind of see how the audience responded to it. And that's kind of the comic mind. I think we kind of have an advantage of being stand-ups where we don't fall in love with our material, right? The audience at the end of the day is the biggest judge of the material.
Right.
So I just approached that with my screenwriting. And I'm like, look, this scene is intended to be funny. If we do it in a table read and it's not getting laughs, something's wrong.
Yeah.
And I've seen other writers that come from like a playwriting background, theater background, and they go, well, no, this shows this character this, and it's like, yeah, but is it funny? It's like, yeah, it's supposed to be comedic. You're like, okay, well then it's not doing its job. So
yeah,
I approached that with everything. So when I wrote that script, I made sure that, hey, I want all these jokes to hit on paper, and then it happened to, and this will translate to the screen, which I was very lucky that it did. So
that's great, man. And what inspired you writing that screenplay?
So I just remember when, in the news a couple months ago, I saw the news report where, the Texas and Florida governors were shipping the migrants at the border, and they were shipping them to different places. They were shipping them to, New York, Washington, Seattle, like just sending them to like different places. And I always thought to myself, I'm like, it's kind of funny to have people from, our cultura immediately being thrown into these fish out of water situations. So every sitcom that people love is like really a fish out of water story, big comedies, things like that. So I was like, this is a great fish out of water story that kind of just fell into our lap just from what's going on in the world. So my whole thing was, imagine if you did have these migrants from, Central and South America, Mexico, being put in the same room with like some hipsters that want to take them in and kind of, see how they can help them like acclimate to what it's like to live in like Williamsburg, Brooklyn, where, people have their, pronouns in their bio and like all this stuff. So it's like, to me, it's two worlds colliding, which is what happened in the news. So I was like, I'm going to create a situation where what would it be like to see that on screen and just seeing the jokes? And it's jokes that only, and this is someone that told me, it's jokes that only could come from your perspective. And that's my biggest thing is like, I want to create stuff that I want to see on screen, and I know no one's going to do it.
Yeah.
Because they don't have the same kind of upbringing or culture we have.
Yeah.
And that's my approach to it. I was like, I'm going to write stories that come from our point of view or my family's point of view, or if you grew up, first generation, Mexican American, your point of view. And that's what film's always been about. It's like, how do you get to know someone? You watch the movies they produce, the TV shows they write and direct, It's like, that's how people get to know you and your characters. And that's kind of how I approached it. I was like, I want to make this, I'm not trying to send a message. I'm not trying to be super meaningful. I was like, I just want to create funny. Mm-hmm. And that situation alone was funny to me. So I was like, it's going to translate on screen. And that's exactly what happened, which is pretty great. I can't wait for everyone to see it when it comes out.
Right on.
Yeah.
And so it's not just about them landing in Brooklyn, right? So it's a web series, so it continues?
It does continue, yeah. So our goal was to see how the first pilot kind of responds online. So, the good thing is I do have a little bit of a smaller following, and I'm growing it, but it's a good, strong following of people who follow me on like Instagram and TikTok. And what I want to do is start creating like bigger, longer form content on my YouTube channel that people can follow. So that way, if they're like, oh man, I love these guys' videos, what else can he do? I want to be like, hey, look, I can tell stories and I can do longer form content. So that's what we're doing now, which has been great. And it's this is our first episode, which I'm very excited to launch. So yeah, from this episode, we want to be able to create 3 more episodes. So yeah, if the audience responds to it, they love it, they can help support it, and then they can go ahead and fund the next couple episodes.
So the episode that you showcased the other night at the Haha, was that the first episode?
That was the first episode. Yes. So that's our pilot episode. I've already written the other episodes. It's just about producing. I already have everyone ready, cast, crew. It's casted. I have my actors that we showcased. And yeah, it would just about be filming the other ones. And I'm really excited to help, kind of put that out there for people who want to see that.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, man.
You're like the Latin Adam Sandler. Is hiring his friends and writing the scripts and just, going out there and having a good time on set.
Yeah. It's great to perform at the Yeah, the Latino Sandler.
Yeah,
right. Oh man. No, dude. It's just freeing because this is kind of the time to do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's kind of the time to just create and just have fun with whatever we're doing. And luckily we're happy, like, doing a podcast. It's like the same approach to doing a podcast. It's like, I have the idea for a podcast, let's just do it, let's just shoot it. It's the same thing that I approach kind of everything. It's just, hey, I have an idea for a video, let's do it. I have an idea for stand-up, let's do it.
Yeah.
The point is just to like not sit on them. It's just, you have it, start acting, and then just follow through on it. I think that's really it.
Right on. And for somebody that's, wants to do sketches or write a screenplay or produce, a web series like you created, what are some challenges that were unexpected on your part that you came across that you had to overcome?
Well, there's a lot. I also have a film coming out later this year, which we can talk about as well. Thanks, man. You just have to expect you're gonna encounter problems. You just have to expect that not everything is gonna go smoothly. You just have to expect that you're gonna think you're gonna have some resources and then you're not. To me, this is kind of a weird thing that I've kind of learned is like, I realize that I'm like, things don't start getting done until you encounter your first problem. So, for migrants, for example, we had a location that was going to be very easy to secure. I mean, that's what I was told. Then once we started kind of getting into the nitty gritty and like nailing down the date and the times, all of a sudden the person that was going to lend us the space started getting, more antsy. They wanted to demand more things and everything. And to be honest with you, I wasn't in love with the space enough that I wanted to like follow through with all their demands, So I said, you know what? We're in New York. There's plenty of other places I can shoot. I can shoot in other places that look much more like Brooklyn.
Yeah.
And turns out the place that we ended up shooting at was even better.
Really?
So it's like it's that's a good thing that happens. So sometimes when I was like, oh, this is the space I want to shoot, we ended up finding something way better that worked way better for us.
Wow, that's great. So like most people would have just settled and said, hey, we'll take what we can get. Especially new filmmakers or someone that's trying to come, but you didn't jump at the first chance of getting a place to shoot, and you're like, I'm going to hold out for a better place, and that's I applaud you for doing that, because good things do come to those who wait, I think.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's just like it's kind of a little scary, because I told the actors, I was like, we're going to lock this date in. It's also too like you got to make sure everything fits everyone's schedule. If you tell everyone you're going to shoot on Monday, and you're like, hey, this location's not going to be ready by Monday, I have to switch it. So now you're like, hey, can we switch it to Tuesday? And then one of the actors is like, well, I'm booked on Tuesday, or I can't do Tuesday. So it's like, it throws everything off. So I had a date. I was like, I'm going to shoot it by this date. If the location comes, it comes. But yeah, I mean, I basically had to, kind of readjust on the fly. We ended up finding something better. Even with some of our cast members, I had an actor that was committed. They couldn't do it anymore. They canceled. So I found someone else, and the person I found someone else, I actually think did a better job. Wow. I think they fit the character better, and they got a lot of laughs even on the pilot. So that was great. So it ended up working out. So it's kind of the same thing. Things just end up working out a little bit better.
So yeah, you see that actor that dropped out? We didn't need you anyways.
He's a good guy. He probably listens to that. I'm just kidding. He's like, fuck him. I didn't want to do his shitty pilot anyways.
Yeah. And did you have long shoots, full days, or were
this
you able to get
this
in and
one
out?
was pretty simple. It was we knocked it out in one day, just because I was very tight with the script. I knew the jokes that I wanted to do. We gave our actors some leeway, just after the takes that we got that we wanted, I'm like, all right, let's just have more fun with it. So we got some good moments from there that did make it to the final cut. So yeah, man, it was one of those things where we're able to get everything in one day. We were very efficient. I had a great crew, and yeah, we just kind of got lucky. The tough shoot was for the film that I have coming out, which we're gonna do a screening for in May. We're in post-production now. That one we shot 4 days.
Yeah.
We shot at night. It was all night shoots. So you're talking about from 4 p.m. to 4 a.m.
Wow.
To 4 days in a row. I mean, you're an actor.
Yeah.
So and night shoots are not easy.
No.
It totally messes up.
It messes up your sleep pattern. You know what I mean?
Oh, big time. Yeah, you're going to bed. By the way, when it says like, oh, you're wrapped at 4, you really don't get home till about 6:30.
Yeah.
So it's like, especially for me, I was producing, so I had to make sure everything was taken care of, everything. I had to make sure the actors got back to their hotels safely. So we shot it in El Paso, Texas. So this project is called Legalized.
Oh, okay.
And we're not premiering, we're screening it in May. And we shot it in El Paso in December, which during the day was around like 42 degrees. At night, it would dip down to around 24.
Oh, wow.
Because it's in the desert of Texas.
Oh, I see.
And so we had some shots where we're doing outdoor shots and we're running.
Wow.
So me and the other actor, I was fortunate to act in it. We're running in like 28 degree weather.
Jesus.
At night at 4 a.m.
Wow.
Yeah. So those are the days. Yeah, that's when it really kind of gets long, and you're just like, at that point, you're just thinking of like, what's it gonna look like in the final cut. That's all you're thinking about, because that's all that can kind of keep you going. So that was a lot of fun, but that was long days. But everyone on the first day is chipper. They're joking. They're cracking jokes on set. Everyone's having fun. The energy's flowing. It's getting late, but people are drinking coffee. It's fun. Yeah. Then by day 3, like you could just tell everyone's just like on low sleep, low battery, and you got to make sure you get the moments with your actors.
Yeah.
And you also have to make sure that your crew's not falling behind on, setting up shots and, because you shoot one angle, you got to shoot everything the other angle and everything. And so
you gotta make sure you have crafty set up so everyone's fed and they have their coffee and then they're
coffee, meth.
Yeah.
We passed around crack to everyone on set, and that did help.
Right.
So everyone who shits on crack, you can't shit on crack, dude. Crack helps.
Crack keeps you going past OT.
Yeah, dude. The trucker's meth. You know.
Yeah.
So it's been good, man. But that was a lot of fun, and that project that we shot in December kind of really helped me just approach Migrants, which was the web series. It's just like, you work with what you got, and you got to make the most of it and have fun with it, and you also have to like make sure that everyone's having a good time on set because. For a comedy, you don't want people to be angry on set during a comedy. It just ruins everything.
Right.
Yeah. And I'm sure too, because you're an actor too, so it's like being on set and you're like, man, this is supposed to be a comedy. Everyone's super fucking serious. It's like everyone's pissed. Like, what happened? Like the fucking director fucked the actor's wife. What's going on? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's wild, dude.
Yeah.
And what kind?
Sorry, I didn't know. I can't curse, right?
No, you could curse. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
gonna be on Spotify.
All right.
All that good stuff.
I didn't know. I thought this was being streamed to Nick Jr. or something.
No, you're good.
This is You're like, this is gonna be on the Disney Channel.
No, you're good, dude. Yeah, man. So, what got you into stand up? Did you start in Los Angeles or?
I did. LA was my starting ground, man. I just told this story the other day to someone. The stand-up thing was always something that I really enjoyed, right? I always loved watching stand-up from when I was a kid. And the way I first started watching stand-up was watching Seinfeld.
Wow.
Because every episode, right, for the first couple of seasons of Seinfeld, it would open up with him telling jokes.
Yeah.
So he's just standing there with a microphone making people laugh, and then it would go into his show. Remember that, like the early episodes? So it'd be like, you know what I mean? And then, like the fucking Seinfeld song. And he's doing stand-up. So I was like, I remember as a kid being like, oh, wow, that guy's just talking and people are laughing. And I always like to make people laugh. Like in class, I was always trying to joke with my friends. My whole family's funny, right? My parents are Mexicans from Juarez, so like, they all just make fun of each other and joke around with each other. I had 2 older brothers.
Okay. You were the youngest?
No, I'm the second youngest. So I have a younger brother. So there's 4 of us.
Oh, okay.
So I have 3 brothers. So there's four guys total in the house. And it was just a very male-dominated household. It was my dad.
Yeah.
It was me. It was my 2 older brothers, my 1 younger. So, and my mom was basically like, she basically was a man, So my mom was very progressive. This was like before, because she would always just
before Caitlyn.
Yeah, before Caitlyn, exactly. My mom identifies as him, because she just was like, she used to bust our balls too. She'd be like, making funny, like, hey, no te has bañado, hediondo, ve bañate. Like, go shower, you smell like ass. Like, that's how Mexican moms talk to you. They just talk to you like straight up. They don't, it's not like when you would go to your white friend's house and be like, Timothy, did we do bath time? If not, you're not going to be able to play your Nintendo. And then the kid's like, shut up, mom. I remember going to my white friends' houses and just seeing how they would, talk to their friends. So, always just comedy was in my house all the time. And then Seinfeld, when I used to watch that as a kid, I was like, oh, wow, you can actually just do that. And in the show, he would label himself as a comedian, right? In the show, he would say, it's like, I'm a comedian. I was like, oh, wow, that's something that you can do. So the seed was planted there. And then once I was kind of old enough to, decide where I want to live on my own, I came out to California, man, and that was kind of it. I was like, I want to do comedy, and people were like, did you start in Texas? I'm like, no, I never even did one open mic in Texas. I was like, I'm just going to go to LA and be a comedian and an actor. And
right after high school or college?
High school.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I said, fuck college.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not going to college.
Yeah.
And turns out that was actually a really good move, because I remember when I went to my first acting class, everyone was like graduated from like, Idaho State with a theater background, and so it's like all these like people that would move to LA, they got their theater degree, but they owe like $50,000 in debt. And I'm just like, dude, I don't know a penny to anyone, and I'm in the same position you are. I am in the same acting class, and and I'm going to the same auditions you are. Like, so that was it. And then with stand up, you don't go to school for stand up.
Right.
You just have to fucking do it. That's what I love about it. It's like there's no school for it. There's nothing. It's literally it's a Neanderthal. It's rubbing two sticks together and seeing if you can make fire, which is laughter.
Yeah.
It's literally going on stage, talking into a microphone, and waiting for laughter to come out. It's Neanderthal shit.
Yeah.
Sticks, that's what they do. They rub two sticks till fire comes out. You go on stage, you talk until laughs come out. So, yeah, I didn't go to college because I knew this is what I wanted to do.
And was your family supportive?
Yeah, they're Mexicans, right? So as long as you're not, being a drug dealer, or I mean, if you're not, as long as you're not going to jail, they're like supportive,
Nice. Yeah.
As long as you're not a drug dealer or anything. Actually, my mom, even if I was a big time drug dealer and like, giving her a new Mercedes every year for her birthday, she would have been cool with it. Like, ay, mijo, he's providing a service. You know what I mean? People like it. And then, did you see my new E-Class Mercedes? But yeah, my parents were always supportive just because, I wasn't doing anything bad. They're like, he's living on his own. I wasn't asking him for anything. I was, working a day job and doing stand-up at night and going to auditions. And so, I was self-sufficient. I was doing what I was doing. I was loving it. I was doing open mics. I was, driving to, Orange County to do stage time. I was driving to, Lancaster doing spot, like,
Stop bragging.
Yeah, just doing everything in SoCal. I was doing every stage I could get on. Friday nights, I used to go to
I know you were a hustler, dude. When I saw you come around, I saw you at the open mics. I saw you pen and paper, writing down stuff, and just really, crafting your set, man, and putting it all together. And I've seen you grow through the years, man, and I've seen you just get better just over time and put in all the work, and you really didn't have anything handed to you, and you got everything that came your way through hard work and persistence, man. So I congratulate
dude, thank you. No, that's awesome. I mean, I still feel like we're still working for it, but I think now, now that I'm in my 30s, you just trust your instincts more. So in everything, and comedy helps do that. Comedy helps like strip you down, So no, I appreciate that, man. It was just a lot of, you're right. It was a lot of just staying on top of it. And I never understood like those people that could just go on stage without like any notes and like just work material out on stage. I was always very much like I need to know what I'm saying before I say it kind of comic. So,
like an actor.
Yeah, like writing aspect. Yeah, so writing aspect, that's kind of how I approached it.
Yeah.
Was like, I'm just going to write everything down. Sometimes I would write it out word for word.
Yeah.
Sometimes I would just hit the big beats that I know I want to hit.
Yeah.
But it was always writing. And I always had the notebook with me. To this day, I mean, I know the set I'm going to say, but I still write it out.
Oh.
Like I write out my set list. If not, I don't feel good on stage.
Oh.
Like I still write it out.
That's
so like
great, dude.
I could do the same. So like there's times where I like go to a club and like I'll headline and I'll be like, I'm going to write out the set that I'm going to do before I go on stage. So like I'll do, every bit, every chunk, like, okay, this bit, this bit, this bit, this chunk, blah, blah, blah. I'll do that for show 1. And then for show 2, I'll do the same thing. I'll rewrite it, even though it's the same thing, just because my mind, it helps just organize it in my head.
Dude, and that's so smart, man, because I was so against writing everything word for word, when I first started. And let me just tell you something. It bit me in the ass later because
tell me.
No, because I was trying to get I was approached through Eric. I'm sorry, I'm blanking on his last name, but he was the booker for Comics Unleashed.
Oh,
Byron
Allen show. Yeah, dude, I remember that.
And dude, he approached me multiple times, man. And he's like, dude, just we want to get you on, man. Just write out your set, what you're going to do and then send it to me, email it to me. I'm like, I don't have it written down. It's all up here, dude. You know, I got bullet points, you know, because I'm borderline illiterate, you know what I mean? Because, yeah.
Just tell them you're like, I really don't know how to read and write, dude.
Yeah. No, but, you know, so that's just something to know if you're an up-and-coming comedian, is to get in the habit of having it all written down. Because, like I said, it went and bit me in the butt when it was time to get on a network show.
Dude, I actually, and I say this respectfully, I actually credit you, bro, to multiple people for actually helping me become a screenwriter.
No way.
Yes.
How so?
So you told me a very similar story. So what I love about Eric, and this is your audience will like this, Eric is a guy that he's just so honest and so transparent, and he's been like that from day one. Because I love Eric, because I've been around you, dude, when you don't like someone, and I could tell. And I also know that you when you like someone, you freaking really love them. Like, you're a loyal motherfucker.
Yeah.
But I also do know that you own your L's. You're not one of those dudes that it's very LA when people play things off when they drop the ball, right? Yeah. They'll be like, yeah, man, I was, we know comics that have been on these competition shows like America's Got Talent and everything. And the night before they're supposed to be taping, dude, we see them at the club. They're boozing. They got some chick on them. They're out late. And then I've seen it happen, and I know you've seen it happen. The next night they go on stage, like especially during the last comic standings, 8 days, they would do their set. They just did their first round. They got some TV exposure. And then they go on stage and they eat it the next night when they're supposed to be taping because they didn't go to bed early. They didn't do all the prep work. And then they'll just say, oh, man, the judges had it against me. They don't own their L's. But you told me a story where you really owned an L, and it stuck with me. And it was a lesson.
Let me relive it right now because I don't remember. I know.
I know you probably don't remember, but I remember it so vividly when you told this story that it actually inspired me to start writing films.
All right, let's hear it.
So you told a story, and if people don't know, Eric is not just a hilarious comedian, but he is a legit matinee actor. I mean, you're a great actor, dude. I've seen your stuff. You're a great actor, and I want to work with you. I really do, because you have such a great on-screen presence.
Thank you, buddy.
I remember you told me that you did a stand-up set, and you already were working as an actor in LA, and you got some really strong attention from some top-tier management and representation, which is good. I mean, that's what we fight for. It's like, you want that guy that's just going to make one phone call and get you into any room in Hollywood. And you told me you had that. And you said that this agent was able to get you into direct meetings with heads of casting of Paramount, Universal, NBC, CBS, the Studio City, and at the end of every meeting, they would ask you, do you have any script ideas? Do you have anything? And then you were like, I just had to tell them no, because I didn't. And they're like, do you have anything that you've written for like a show idea, sitcom, comedy, movie ideas, anything? And you just, at the end of every meeting, they would all ask you that. And you were like, I just told them. I was
no.
Yeah. And you're like,
and you know what? That's what I heard back from them.
No.
Until that agent said, no, we're not working with you anymore.
Yeah.
And then boom.
Yeah. And I remember you were so honest about it because we were just there and you were talking to a few of us, a few comics. I was, this was like, a few years ago. And you were like, all I could do was just look at these heads of casting and just basically just hold my dick in my hand and just be like, I don't have anything.
Nothing.
And when you told that story, it really stuck with me because I was like, I want to be ready that if that moment ever happens, I want to make sure that I have at least 3 or 4 scripts that I have that I could send over them to read, TV show ideas, screenplay ideas, and from there, brother, that's when I decided, I was like, I'm going to make sure I know how to at least write a script and tell a story, a narrative story. So I've told that story to a few other comedians, and it also has helped them. So your experience helped me, man.
Dude, let me just tell you, I'm telling you, like, wow. Well, thank you for the kind words, man. I appreciate you. And you know what? You are spot on. You're very observant, man. And you nailed it right on the head. You know, that as far as like, if I don't like you, you'll know I don't like you. Like, I just can't hide it. I'm not that good of an actor. You know, I appreciate you sending my praise my way and telling me what kind of actor I am, because I do respect it, and it's a form of storytelling, just like stand-up is, how we were talking earlier.
Yeah.
And I respect what we do, just like you respect what you do by, what you do, what you're saying to the audience when you write out everything that you do, Bryan, which is very commendable, and it's your way of respecting the audience, is that you don't go up on stage and, well, we'll see what happens. Well, we'll see how tonight goes. You have it all written down, and you said, you know what, this is what I worked hard, I've been working on these jokes, and this is what I've worked, all this time for. And I'm going to respect these people that paid money to go and see me. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to give them these jokes that I've worked so hard for. So
I didn't even think of that, but yeah,
dude,
I didn't even think of that.
You know what, man? That's your way of saying, you know what? Thank you for getting the babysitter and, paying for the, the parking. And thank you for, taking time. You only get one night off or 2 nights off, depending on your work schedule.
That's
like
true.
The people that come see you, right?
Yeah, you're right.
And they paid money to come see you. And what you're doing is you're saying, look, I know you did all this and made all this effort to come see me. I'm going to give you something that I know that is funny, because I've been working on it for so long. That's
true.
Your way of thanking them. And dude, so I don't know, I kind of went off on a thing. I don't know.
No, but I didn't even think of that, because you're right. It is, for most times when you go out to a comedy club or anything, it's really many people's first time ever going to a comedy show. It's not really on a lot of people's lists, right? Like, most people go out to eat, they go out to a bar, they go out for drinks, they go out. Dude, people go out fucking bowling before they go out to a stand-up show. So by the time that people have hung out enough to where they've done a bunch of different things, then they finally go, hey, why don't we go to a comedy club and go watch some stand-up comedians? And if you go up there and their first time ever going to a comedy club, and the comic up there is just, mumbling, they're not really going anywhere, they're not making any strong points, they're not really giving it their all, and they're just kind of like, hey, what do you guys want to talk about? Like that comic, dude, you don't realize, but you've ruined that customer for many other comedians. Versus if they
dude,
go,
I get it, man. Stop talking about me. I'll write shit down, man. Jesus.
What I'm saying, Eric, is you've really fucked it up for a lot of.
Jesus.
You didn't fuck up your career. You fucked up a lot of guys' career.
Yeah. If you came to my show and you saw that part of me, I'm sorry, but no refunds.
No, you're like, I put that in the ticket. No refunds at all. Yeah, dude. No, I didn't think of it like that, but that's a really good point.
Yeah, and you know what? I didn't think about it like that before either, Bryan. And this is like 15 years doing stand up, and this is just me realizing this at this age. Well, better late than never, right? But You know what, dude? If I would have realized that when before I got those meetings with these executives at these networks. That big agent got me through, right? If I would have known that at that time, then I would have had more respect for the people I was sitting across from in those meetings, and I would have had something prepared.
Yeah. I mean, you can do that about anything. And the thing is, like, you take that with you now, and you can be, you're right. It's one of those things where you kind of go through life, especially as a creative, and you focus on all of your faults because you're like, shit, if I would have done that different, where would I be now? Or maybe that would have led to this opportunity and everything. But truth be told, man, I mean, it's kind of like relationships, right? You're like, man, if I would have maybe, called that girl back more, or, been more present on some dates, maybe that relationship would have turned into this kind of relationship. But at the end of the day, if it didn't work out, you got to just apply it, learn the lesson. And then when you date someone new, you're like, shit, okay, now I'm going to make sure I'm going to be this kind of guy with this girl,
Yeah.
And that, it's the same thing with relationships. So it's like, I think kind of comedy in life is like really, really kind of coincides with, how we handle our, dating life or love life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially like career wise, because if you can find any woman that'll tolerate dating a comedian, God bless her, because we're really not the best people. And it seems like you're in a good spot now, dude, with your lady.
Yeah, I'm just going to edit that part so my girlfriend doesn't hear that. She doesn't know.
Yeah, she's still under the spell that you're this amazing guy. She hasn't seen how much of a piece of shit you are.
No, dude, she's really supportive, and I really lucked out because everything you just said was absolutely true about us comics. We got a lot of good things to offer, but we got some baggage, right?
Dude, I mean, I know, my lady will say, she's like, you're incredibly selfish, and I'm like, I know, I know this. I've talked about it with my therapist. I am this selfish person. Hence why I'm on stage talking to a room full of people and I want to be the center of attention.
Yes.
It's like, sorry,
Yeah.
You kind of have to be a little bit, you kind of have to have a little bit of that. But the point is that when you're with that person, you got to just check that at the door,
Yeah.
which is kind of hard to do sometimes.
It's really hard.
It's hard to do when you go on or you travel to a different city, you crush, and then you come back and your girl's like, can you just rub my feet? And you're like, rub your feet. I just murdered in, Portland, Oregon for 3 nights, and then you got to be that guy. You got to humble yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
And rub the feet. Are you a foot guy, Eric?
I am.
Yeah?
That is
So you're like, oh, I'm all over the foot.
dude, I love feet, dude.
No way. Are you like a legit foot guy?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm full on.
Are you a toe sucker?
Yeah. If it's right, dude. Yeah.
Good for you,
if the
man.
bunion's right,
Oh,
Yeah.
the bunion's got to be there. No, are you really? No, seriously.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely, dude. Feet
You are a
fucking
dirty
incredibly.
I know, I'm a dirty Mexican too. I'm a foot guy as well. So
okay.
it takes one foot to know the other foot. If the shoe fits, I'm sucking on it.
Right? Yeah. No, it's so important. Do you ever recommend a shoe for your wife? I'm sorry. Right?
Dude, I
wear?
I buy her shoes. I buy her shoes because I want her to wear certain shoes. And
No way. Wow. You actually. Wow. That's
I am like, I'm gonna buy you these shoes because I want you to wear them.
okay.
Yeah. No, yeah, I want her to do. But unfortunately, dude, my girl's got some not great feet, so it's good. I picture other women's feet when I'm with her. She's like, "Are you thinking of someone else?" I'm like, "Just their feet."
Dude, that's so funny.
Just their feet.
Yeah.
I like everything else. I like how
Yeah.
she's built every way else.
Yeah.
It's still you, but I'm thinking of this Asian girl's foot that I, put in my mouth 10 years ago.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, I know.
We are dirty animals, man.
Have you ever had a chick with like a big foot? You're like, damn, that's a clog right there. That's a hoof.
Yeah. No, not that I could recall, but I guess all feet look the same in the dark. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, dude, you got to be careful, dude. You can't just put any foot in your mouth, dude.
That's true.
Have you ever dated a tall chick? Like a tall chick?
Yeah, I actually like tall chicks.
What's the tallest you've ever been with?
I think it was like 6.
6?
I think it was 6 foot. But I didn't date her. I just was with her.
Yeah, you romanticized her.
Yeah.
You had an encounter.
Yeah, I had an encounter.
And she was 6 foot.
6 foot, yeah.
Damn, 6 foot's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah. But she had a small Adam's apple, so it kind of made up for it.
But the balls were huge, though.
Yeah, there's huge balls.
That's good. She made up for it in ball.
Yeah.
Small Adam's apple, big ball. That's my kind of girl. It's my kind of gal. No.
What about you? Do you like tall chicks?
I don't go out of my way to date them, but I have dated some taller women, and part of it is good to date taller women.
You're what, like 6 foot?
I'm 6 feet.
Oh, right.
I was blessed to be in the 6 foot club.
Nice.
The tallest woman I ever dated was 6'1", and she had a foot on her, like legit. She wore like a size.
Yeah, because you're from Texas, and
she wore.
Bigger.
I remember her foot because it was like about to go into my mouth. I'm like, this is hefty. Like I should have stretched my jaw out before I put my mouth on this toe right here. It was like a hoof, but she had her feet were nicely taken care of, which was nice. But I didn't realize how big her feet were until they were like this close to my face, and I was like opening it like when you see a Carl's Jr. commercial, I was like, holy shit! So she was 6'1".
Wow.
And she had a big woman's foot.
Uh-huh.
And not obviously. I mean, if you find a tall woman, there's a base, a big base that goes with it.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So I think she might have had like a size like 11 in women's, dude.
Oh wow.
Which is that's basically a size like 9.5 for men.
Yeah, yeah.
And so it was a pretty hefty one.
Oh wow.
And that made me rethink. I'm like, I can't just go straight for the foot. I gotta size them up first.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like you ever go to the gym, and because I feel like every guy's done this. You ever go to the gym and being like, kind of picture like, hey, what if this guy tried to fight me? How would I fight someone that
At
big?
the gym?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah.
Like you ever size up dudes?
Yeah.
Not like you're gonna do it, but you're
Right,
like,
right.
if this guy were to come at me, what would I do if he's like this
Absolutely.
much bigger than me?
Yeah, yeah.
So now I'm doing that with women's feet. I'm sizing them up.
Nice. Yeah, yeah, man. The thing about big feet, I think the shoes are more expensive, aren't they? So it's a good thing to avoid them.
You gotta
if
be
you're
careful.
on a budget.
Yeah, my lady's got some small feet,
Okay.
even small for her size,
All
which
right.
is nice. Because I do like a little petite foot. It's cute.
Oh, right on.
Yeah, a little cute foot. Like when you're cuddling and you see the foot kind of come on your calf, you're like, oh, that's a cute foot. Versus like a big old,
Yeah.
freaking Shaquille O'Neal foot.
So I told you I met my girlfriend through the dating app during the pandemic. Where'd you meet your wife?
I met her on a dating app,
Ah, there you go.
Tinder.
There you go.
So you did Bumble,
Yeah.
which is that's the new one.
Yeah.
By the way, that's the feminist app because women got to reach out first.
Right.
So she liked what she saw with Eric Allegria.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's a good thing that I had my headshots ready.
Do you use the headshots?
Of course,
dude. I know.
Yeah,
Aren't
yeah.
those that's like a slam dunk?
I mean, well, I paid for them, right?
Yeah, you're like, I better get
Yeah.
something out of it.
Exactly.
Get some, hot sex out of it.
And when she recalls, seeing my profile, she always mentions the good pics.
Oh, she's like, the picture stood out.
Yeah, so it's best $350 I've ever spent.
Yeah, that's not bad. Did you have a pic of you? This is what every comic does. The stand-up pic.
You know what? I don't think I remember having the stand-up pic.
Where you're like, with the Laugh Factory behind you or the Improv. You
Yeah.
ever had one of those? I had one of those.
Just on my social profiles, but not on my dating app. I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah,
Because that is like the kind of male comic, like, I'm a comedian card.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
Because I used to have that. I used to have the Laugh Factory logo behind me with the stand-up pic. And that was
Great
like
backdrop.
And immediately women would be like, "Oh, you're a comedian. You perform at the Laugh Factory." I'm like, "Yeah. Do you want to come by? You want to come to my show?" And that was the move.
Yeah, yeah.
Obviously. So I pulled that. I use that card because it's the same thing with the headshot. You're like, dude, I'm doing comedy. I've given up my whole life for this. I better get something back.
Right? Yeah, yeah. Totally. And you've been with her for a while, right? Because you were with her in Los Angeles before you left, right?
Yeah. We've been together for how long has it been? Almost 8 years.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy. I can't even believe it.
So at what age did you get married?
28.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So not too bad.
Yeah, yeah.
Almost 5 years. 28 is not too bad.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, that's young for LA.
yeah, yeah.
Everyone's like, what? 28? That's so young. I'm like, everyone I know back home has already had like 4 kids by the age of 28,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it was fine for me. I was like, 28, I'll just go and do that.
But don't most people get married to have kids, and you still don't have any kids,
No
right?
kids. No kids. I don't know. That's the new age, dude. Women don't want to have kids these days.
And that's good, right?
I mean, for right now it is.
Yeah.
But what if I do want to have kids?
Uh-huh.
I don't know. I've been kind of thinking it. I'm kind of getting the dad itch. Do you have any relatives that have kids already?
Oh yeah, I'm the youngest of 4, so all my siblings have kids.
How do you feel? How do you feel about the kids thing?
I love being a great uncle.
Do you want to be a dad?
I'm good with being an uncle.
Ah,
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
So you're like, it's not something that really is a big appeal to you.
No, not at this age. Yeah, I'm a lot older than you. I'm 47.
Shut up.
So yeah.
Eric, dude, you are.
Yeah.
By the way, this proves that we are the fountain of youth. Latinos are.
Dude, it is.
Dude, you honestly, you are. You look amazing.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the guacamole I put on my face every day.
The guacamole mask.
Yeah.
It's delicious too.
Yeah,
by the
you got
way.
to
It
make
smells
sure
great.
you have the pico de gallo. You know what I mean? Yes.
But that's. Oh yeah, I guess. I mean, look, it's always possible for us as guys.
Yeah.
Which is kind of nice.
Yeah.
It's always possible.
But I just don't want to be the old dad. You know what I mean?
Why not?
Why not? What?
Is it? Yeah. Why not?
Oh, I mean, I just don't want to be that old guy, man. You know, it's like I'm too old for this shit. I don't want to.
Did your dad have you guys young, or was he a little bit older?
Young. Yeah,
Like-
Mexican, dude. True.
I know,
My
I
mom
know.
too, dude. Like, but by the time my dad was 28, he had all his kids.
Yeah,
Yeah,
dude, that was back then. They just didn't care. They were just like, I'm just gonna bust and move on to the next kid. You know. Yeah. I don't honestly though. Like, I think we're the one generation where, yeah, having kids, like, we really think it through. Back then, I felt like they were just so like cavalier about it. Yeah, I'll have a kid. Why not? And they just started
Yeah.
blowing loads in our moms.
Oh yeah.
Our dads were just blowing loads in our moms
Left
early.
and right, dude.
Dude, yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever accidentally like had have you ever had the scare though? Have you ever gotten close?
Oh yeah, no, yeah. I've taken the trip to the clinic.
Eric, I love it, dude. You've already, yeah, so you have gotten close. That's how you know you're like, I can't do it.
I got cold feet.
Yeah, you did. Big cold feet in
Yeah,
your mouth.
Yeah. That kid would have been like 24 already.
Yeah, dude, you passed one early.
Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah.
I've never gone to the point where I've gotten the chick pregnant.
Oh.
I've never gotten to the point where we had to take that drive to the P Hood.
Okay.
I've never done that, which is good. I'm a responsible adult out there. I don't know, because I've always thought that. Like, I've just gotten scared. I'm a big condom guy.
Okay. Well, good for you, man.
You're like, I'm not.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've always, if I've ever like engaged, I'm responsible. I'm like a Boy Scout.
Yeah.
Like, I've already got my little I got my condom ribbon.
Yeah.
You know, like my condom badge. I'm like, I always got it ready.
I like your joke that you have about condoms. I want to hear. Let me see. I have your stand up with me right here. Maybe it's in one of these clips here.
My condom joke.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with a good condom. God bless him.
Do you hear anything playing?
Not through my ears. No. That might be it right there.
Oh.
Did you have that one camera in the back the whole time?
No, I didn't have it in there the whole time. I moved around. So, yeah, I moved around to different places because I didn't want the same angle.
No, okay. No, that looks great, dude. That's awesome.
You need variety. Makes it more interesting.
Good times, man. What a great crowd.
What a great crowd, man.
I'm so glad you were there.
Yeah, dude. Me too.
Oh my gosh. There's nothing like a comedy audience that comes out and they're just ready to have.
Oh yeah, dude. Totally. No, they're a great crowd. You did a great job, dude.
Thank you, brother, man.
Yeah,
I appreciate
yeah.
I appreciate you being there.
Yeah, dude. And you know what, man? Dude, I'm so happy that you took that little bit of knowledge, that I experienced, and you applied it, and because I was lucky enough to get some gems just from
I mean, your talent, you deserved it.
Thank you.
You did. I mean, you're a great actor. You're a great comic.
But it's like these gems of knowledge, and you'll do the same thing. And I'm sure you've affected other comedians too, because you're really gracious with your time, and you're very, approachable. And what I see from you is that, you're just really nice to up and coming comics. So I'm sure you've affected some other comedians' life, and what I tell other people is just pass it on, right? Pass on the knowledge.
I think that's what I mean. I had a lot of comics give me advice early on, and what was great is that you're right. I had those people that kind of just they let you hang around them, and they don't need you around them, but they just let you.
Yeah.
And in fact, you're kind of in the way.
Yeah.
And they'll be like, hey, we're going to go grab a bite, the after show bite. We're like, hey, we're all going to go out this diner or something. And they just happen to invite you. Yeah. Like that means everything when you're starting out. When you're so young and you just want to be in the same room with people that are making a living doing what you want to do, and they're doing great. It's you would not believe how valuable that was to me. And I had a few comedians that did that early on, and I still remember that. And yeah, anytime I try to, and I always try to, I try to humble myself too, because there are times where it's not the most convenient thing to do. But you also realize you're like, man, people did that to me. And there could have been people that could have been who is this young kid? He just touched a microphone 6 months ago, and now he's hanging around, some people that have TV, they're on TV. They have a TV show. They're on Netflix. They have a Netflix series. So that means a lot. And when you're in that proximity, it just becomes tangible. It just becomes real. It doesn't seem like a dream. You're like, wait, that guy that I hung out with last night, he has a show on HBO right now. Or he just dropped a special on Netflix. And one person that I will mention right here, which I was really heartbroken to hear that they passed, was David Arnold.
David Arnold?
David Arnold.
Dude, he passed?
You didn't know that?
No, dude. No.
Oh my God. Well, I feel bad that I'm breaking this news to you right now.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
David Arnold.
What a talented guy.
Yeah, a couple months ago, I saw that his Instagram had posted that, it was one of his family members, and they were like, unfortunately, we are, it hurts us to inform you that,
wow,
our David Arnold's no longer with. And I was like, what? And then I saw other comedians sharing their story, and it was one of those things where it really impacted me, because I was about maybe two years into stand-up. And again, it was at the Ha-Ha. Okay. This is why.
Yeah.
And David Arnold, I was a young comic. I got a guest spot on a Friday night show that he was on. And after my set, he went out of his way. And I watched him. He watched my set. And he laughed. And he went out of his way to tell me. He was like, man, he's like, how old are you? I was like, I'm 24. And he was just like, you're really funny, man. He's like, your jokes are solid. And after that, he gave me the same level of respect that he did to, comedians that were already at the Laugh Factory, the Comedy Store. And that made all the difference for me, man.
Wow, dude. And what a compliment coming from such a great comedian, dude.
Great comic, an amazing writer,
great writer.
And dude, yeah, when he recited one of my bits, he's like, that bit that you did about your family going to Mexico. He's like, that was. And then when he did that, I'm like, dude, that really stuck with me.
Of course.
So I always try to go out of my way to tell people who are funny. I'm like, you're funny, man. That was great, because again, that helps a lot.
It does, dude. Dude, I remember all the people that told me I was funny. That it kind of like it meant a little bit more hearing it from them, right?
Yes, it does.
Yeah, and you always remember that.
Yes,
and that's great advice, dude. And I really agree with what you just said. I think you should. I think you should tell them, and because you know what, dude, you might get hit by a bus tomorrow, and you never got a chance to tell that one dude that it was funny, and it would have impacted that person's life. I
mean, it's those things that stay with you.
Yeah.
And whenever I find myself in that position or something, and I find a comic that it's like, hey man, you're funny, or like, what could I do to help? I still do that even out in New York. I do that out in New York. It's one of those things where it's never going to be convenient all the time. But when you go out of your way to do it, it can make, kind of all the difference. And you could take that outside of stand-up and just do that for anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
being nice to people really stands out, especially in an industry that, treats all of us like shit.
Right.
It's like, you don't have to be part of that, so.
Yeah. I feel like, stand-up comedians need it even more than actors. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's a lot of actors that like live in their own world, and for me, stand-up is one of those situations where like the audience tells you how good or bad you did, but as an actor, you can kind of like live on and being like blame everything else because you never get the feedback right away. As a comic, if you're not doing well, the audience is going to let you know.
Yeah.
So, and that's what I like, because we can apply that to acting, we can apply that to storytelling. I think as a comic, you have to just be honest with yourself the whole time, because you're forced to be.
Yeah, that's one of the struggles that I felt faced with, getting the filmmaking going, because we don't have that immediate reaction from the crowd.
No, you don't. No,
you got to just take a chance and think, hey,
you got to just. One thing I think does convey is like when people really feel like you're telling a story from the heart. I think the audience can feel that it's like, oh, okay, this is honest. They're being transparent about it. But yeah, I mean, even then, that may not be enough. And you just got to take it on the chin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. How many times have
you're
we
taken
taken
deep thought about it? You're like, yeah, no, Jesus Christ.
No, I know, dude. It's like, it's weird because we think of these things all the time and they run through our head. But when you say it out loud and you hear it out loud, you know what I mean, through a microphone, it just has a more of an impact. So that was just, or maybe that was a drug flashback that I just had.
Yeah, you just had a little acid flashback. I'm kind of jealous, dude.
Yeah. No, but you know what? You know what I was thinking, to be honest, was going back to, what we were talking about, how important it is to have something to present to, anyone with a position to further your career, right? Executive, manager, agent, about writing it down and what we were talking about. I especially like that it sunk into a fellow Latino, a fellow first generation, Mexican American, because I always tell everybody, and my girlfriend, she works in media sales for Univision,
or
Univision if you're bilingual.
Yeah, Univision. That sounds better.
Right?
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. See, people don't realize. Have you ever heard from non-speaking people that say, "Why do Latinos always like overpronounce like the Spanish word?" And they're like this, but because it sounds weird for us to say it like
I have to go out of my way to sound shitty,
right?
You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's just easier.
Yes.
So I went to go get a bite at Casa Vega in Sherman Oaks,
right
in Studio City.
Yeah.
And then it's like, where do you want to meet? They're like, I was like, let's go to Casa Vega. Like, oh yeah, I'll meet you at Casa Vega. And you're like, it's harder for me to say it that way.
Right.
I have to go out of my way to be shitty.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what they don't understand.
That's like when you just wash your car.
Yeah.
And you drive around a big puddle, and people are like, just drive through the fucking big, muddy, disgusting puddle. And you're like, why? You're like, because that's what I would do.
Yeah.
I mean.
Right. No, absolutely. I mean, it's important to get our our voices out there as Latinos, and that's what I like about social media and YouTube in particular, is that we are not waiting for the gatekeepers to let us in. We're creating our own our content and getting it out there.
I mean, that's what you got to do. I mean, that's one thing I've seen from, a lot of the, the black creators, like comedians, like, dude, they did Kings of Comedy back in the day.
Yeah.
Dude, you got guys like Spike Lee that was writing, acting, and directing.
Yeah.
And he was casting all black actors. And he was telling black stories.
That's right.
And then John Singleton, Boys in the Hood.
Yeah.
That's a black story
Yep.
by a black writer and director. And he was 24 when he did that.
Yeah, amazing.
So it's just like, and then finally, once you create those stories and they start landing with people, and then Hollywood's just like, oh, wow, there is an audience for this.
Yeah.
And it's just like, yeah, but if we don't go out of our way to create these things, they're never going to see it. So we got to stop complaining and start creating.
Right.
Stop complaining, start creating.
Exactly.
That's really it.
No, I 100%.
So it's like, with the story I had that I'm doing, like my film, it's called Legalized. It's a story of whenever the amnesty law passed in the 80s, which gave my parents the right to residency in the United States. And that changed the life of millions of Latinos. And a lot of people don't even know that story, nor have they ever seen it on screen in a narrative way. You learn about it maybe in a history book or a text, but like, I just remember my parents telling me stories growing up, and I'm like, that stuck with me.
Yeah.
And it's just like, why not put this on screen and doing it in a way it's entertaining, it's comedy, but also like kind of capturing this moment in time, which to my knowledge, I've never seen done before. So that was like, if I don't create this, I know no one's going to do it.
Absolutely.
And I think that's the approach, when you see that from, those great like black directors in America, Spike Lee, John Singleton, you got Jordan Peele, who's now doing that, right? Like every story he creates, he's like, I'm going to cast people that look like me because I know what they're feeling and going through.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that. If we don't do it, no one else is going to do it.
No one else will do it. So,
and it's fun.
If you're a Latino out there, or even if you're not a Latino, represent who you are, If you're a furry type, and you're
do a story about furries.
Yeah.
And the coming of age tale.
Yeah.
The coming of age furry tale.
Yeah. Represent. No, it's my girlfriend and I we came across La Bamba the other day, and I was just like, because I was just I kept on it, and it was actually a YouTube channel talking about how like they're just displaying facts about the movie, like the film locations and just kind of facts about the actors and stuff like that. It was really interesting. And La Bamba, I remember my parents taking us to the movie theater and seeing it.
Yeah.
And it had a huge impact on my life, and how a story was told about someone I could relate to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's really important, because you never know whose life you're gonna affect just by telling a story.
Dude, and that's exactly right. You don't never know, and the most important thing is it's the relatability to where it just seems, again, it's tangible. That's the one thing that I think people don't take away. It's like everyone's like, why is everyone so focused on diversity? It's like, I don't care about diversity of like the cast. I care about the diversity of the story. There's so many angles and so many stories that haven't been told yet. But whenever it's something that like relates to you and your household and like how you grew up and you see that on screen, it just makes it seem that much more realistic. Kind of like when we were going back to was like being a young comic and then invited to hang out with like the older comedians who are already making a living, and you're an open micer. You're like, wow, this is tangible. Like, I'm around these people. This seems like something that I really can do. Like, and it's the same thing when you go, like when you watch La Bamba on screen, you're like, man, these people kind of talk the way my family does. It's the same kind of interaction. It seems tangiable.
Yeah.
So
Gives you hope.
That's what we need to do. I mean, and it's fun.
Yeah.
And I love it. Bottom line, it's amazing.
Did you have a movie when you were a kid that you saw that kind of like inspired you to get out there and tell stories, or did you have a movie that you saw as a youngster where it kind of made you feel like, you could do it?
Particular movies that I was watch as a kid. For me, it was all about like being able to like find kind of deep characters that you kind of like that stick with you, right? So the movies that I would watch were always about that. Like, I think as a kid, it's so funny too, because like my parents, they would always let us watch anything. Yeah. Like they were just like, yeah, those like Mexican parents were like, and by the way, my mom like wanted me to be an actor, so she's like, watch it for the acting. Oh, wow, yeah,
that's cool.
So she always like wanted me to be an actor, and she would like put me in like little theater classes and stuff like that. So she was always like, watch it for the acting, and it's like Pulp Fiction, and I'm like 10 years old watching Pulp Fiction. But she's like, look how good the acting is. Like, so I got, my parents would like let me watch these like hardcore. I remember watching Heat as a kid. I was like,
No
wow.
way.
Yeah. And it's like one of the most like,
wow, you had some bad parents.
yeah, I know, I did. I was exposed to all of it. And now I do comedy, which goes to show you, I could have been a serial killer.
Oh, man. I'm just kidding, Mrs. and Mr. Torresdey.
But the funny thing is that my parents just let me watch anything as a kid. So I wasn't filtered with anything. And I knew what movies were. My parents explained to me what movies were. So if there was something on screen that I thought was like a little crazy, my mom was like, they're just actors like you are. So it just made it easier.
Wow.
So yeah, I mean, I would watch,
Was she, was she an actress?
She wasn't, but she liked it a lot.
Oh, wow.
And she wanted me and my brother to be an actor.
Wow.
And she was like, I think, you would be good at this. Wow. And she would like, my mom would, I grew up in Texas, but she found like a little talent agent, and she was like, my kids want to be actors. And, we did some like photos at like Walmart or JCPenney, Montgomery Ward. We did like little, you remember Montgomery Wards? We did like little photos there, and then my mom used that as headshots. And I remember going to like auditions and stuff. Wow. And that's something she wanted. So like at home, my mom would like let us watch like the movies that were like in the theater. Yeah. So like I remember seeing Forrest Gump as a kid, and seeing like all these movies, Pulp Fiction, Shawshank Redemption, like just like all these like heavy topic movies. But mom was like, they're actors. They're like you.
Yeah, yeah.
You're on set. Like so cool. When you're in a play, you're rehearsing. Yeah. So it made me look at it differently.
Yeah,
I saw it from a different perspective. But yeah, I remember just watching movies and just enjoying them, and really kind of just like walking away, being like, wow, that was a story.
Yeah, right.
So I can't say one film in particular that stands out, but it was more just like, just the whole movie aspect was great.
Yeah.
And the way that my parents approached it.
How about TV shows?
TV shows, definitely. TV shows, definitely. Seinfeld was a big one.
Okay.
Seinfeld was big because I saw like the comedian aspect and the interaction with the characters and everything. And that's a show that I purposely would try to watch when I was like 10 or 11. Just watching Seinfeld. Saved by the Bell. Same thing. Oh. I remember watching Saved by the Bell a lot as a kid. And it's just like entertaining, and I mean, like Mario Lopez on TV. Yeah. I'm like, okay, that guy. People used to call my brother Slater because he kind of looked like Mario Lopez. Yeah, so he used to be called Slater. So I would watch it and be like, oh, yeah, it's like my brother. And he's Mexican American, and my brother was like kind of he was a weightlifter, so he was kind of buff like him, and so people would call my brother Slater. And I remember his friends coming over, and like that was his nickname. They would call him Slater. Wow. So I remember watching it and I'd be like, oh, that's like my brother. So it did kind of make it tangible. It made it relatable. Like one character would do that. Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Watched that a lot growing up. Just like these shows, like comedies.
Right.
Stood out.
Yeah.
I was like the world of comedy.
Yeah. Yeah, same here.
Yeah. Those shows stood out to me.
Yeah.
And you kind of take them with you. It's weird. Like those are weird influences, but they stick with you. It's the stuff that you can look back on and be like, wow, I remember a lot of details about this show that I haven't watched since I was a kid, but I know like the lines, the dialogue, the moments, everything. It's weird. It's weird what stays in your mind, you know?
Yeah, it is weird.
Yeah.
So, if you had the genie that grant you that one wish and you got to do, the television or movies or stand up, what would it be? What would your one wish be?
My dream life is to have I've dreamt about this because I used to have a really shitty telemarketing job. The type of job where they don't allow you to have your cell phone at your desk.
Well, that is a shitty job.
The type of where they literally like monitor your behavior.
F them, dude.
Dude, yes. But I had to work it because I was like, it fit with my acting and stand-up schedule.
Okay.
So they used to just give you pen and paper. So I used to just write jokes. I used to just write. To be honest with you, it's kind of a good thing. You know how some people like take a break from their phone?
Yeah.
This job was like, you're taking a break from your phone 6 hours a day.
Wow.
So I was like, okay, good. So your mind starts wandering.
Yeah, sure.
So I started doing a lot of dreaming.
Yeah, a.k.a. working.
Yeah, I know. I don't say manifesting, but like I was just picturing like what would my ideal day. So I figured it out.
Wow.
So the one place I really want to live in LA, I would live in LA, by the way.
Okay.
For this to happen.
And why did you take your ass to the East Coast?
I don't know. No, I like New York too, but it's like if my dream scenario is I would have my production company's office inside the Warner Brothers lot.
Okay.
So
you like that lot?
I love the lot.
Yeah.
I love the Warner Brothers lot.
Yeah, it's classic, dude.
Yeah, I know.
It's really classic, man.
And it's close to like Disney and
Yeah.
like you hear all the stories.
Yeah,
so it'd be like Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
I'd be on the Warner Brothers lot. I would live in Toluca Lake where it's located.
Yeah.
And I would just be able to like walk there and then every day just be able to like produce something, have something shooting in the sound stage. We're going on location. So I would be doing that all day and then at night just pull into the Laugh Factory, the Comedy Store, and just do a set and then go home. And that's it. Like that's the dream right there.
Yeah.
Like if you're like everything lines up, you can get whatever you want. What would it be? It's like I want to be a showrunner, actor, and then a stand-up at night. Nice. And there's people that are doing it.
Sure.
So it's like it's tangible. It's doable.
Yeah.
So that would be it. I was like Warner Brothers lot, have my office there, my own little bungalow.
Yeah.
Have my dog in there.
Yeah.
Be able to go home, grab lunch, come back.
Yeah.
And then at the end, and then at night, go do spots at the Improv.
Yeah.
That's kind of the mix to be in. I'm like, that seems like a great life.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
well, that's what your white counterpart does, Adam Sandler. That's the life he's living.
The Sandman. Yeah, I know. Adam. So if I can't do it, I'm gonna at least try to,
Yeah.
I'm gonna kill him.
There could only be one.
Exactly. Yeah.
Dude, that's a great life, and I believe you could get there, brother.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
definitely. You got the chops, man. And just keep doing what you're doing, dude, and keep knocking it down, man. Everything, every obstacle, you just keep knocking it down.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah, and you'll get there, man. Dude, I'm so happy for you and everything you've accomplished and everything you're doing. That's why, when I saw that you were doing filmmaking, right? I was like, oh man, I want to see what he's doing. You know what I mean? Because and when I heard you were going to be back in LA, I wanted to go see you. And then and you said you were showcasing your webisode. So I was really excited to go there, and I'm glad I got the opportunity to do that, and it didn't disappoint.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I appreciate you coming by, and I'm glad it didn't suck.
Yeah. No, so am I. It would have been so awkward.
Yeah, you're like, I wouldn't have invited you here.
Yeah. No, it's so awkward because, like I said, I'm a bad actor when it comes to like.
It's true. Eric would have been like, dude, just stick to stand-up, bro.
Yeah.
This would have been Eric, bro, you got to just do stand-up. That's it, bro. You're not doing the directing so well.
No, keep doing it, man. Keep doing it and try different things and take chances. And, it's a beautiful world and a time that we're living in where we actually get a chance to do it.
Appreciate it, brother.
Yeah.
Thank you, man. Thanks for having me on, man.
Dude, I love you, brother.
Love you too, man.
Thank you for doing the Poop Dollar podcast.
Poop Dollar!
And let people know where they could check out your webisode and where they could find you.
Yeah, guys, so just follow me on social media. Instagram is my big one, so just type in BTD Jokes. I make it easier. Just a B as in Bravo, T as in Tango, D as in Delta, Jokes. And you guys will follow me there. And on my Instagram, you can just find my YouTube, upcoming show dates, my content. So just go in there, Instagram.com/BTD Jokes. Bryan Torresdey. Thank you so much, man.
Thank you, brother.